It's another beautiful day in the Bay Area. Welcome to Shared Bites. It's a show about sharing experiences both inside and outside of the gaming world. My name is Andy. I'm here as always with my buddy Justin. Justin, how are you doing
Yo,
today?
yo,
Wow, we're doing the
yo,
finger
what's
guns.
up? It's your boy, Justin in the house. I don't know. Hi. I'm doing
Wow.
all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. It actually is a beautiful day. I feel
Yeah,
like
it's pretty nice. I got
more
some
of a
nice
common occurrence
natural light
nowadays.
on me. You're in for a treat if you're watching the show today because I got some good light coming into the apartment today.
Nice. Get that light in there.
I mean, the studio, the Shared Bite studio.
Yes, our remote studios we'll get ready to go soon into our new digs. We're not, but one day we can only dream. It's good. It's crazy. It's August, but in the Bay Area, it's called. Oh, in San Francisco, at least we call it Fogust because.
I've never heard that.
Well, no, yeah, it's Carl the Fog is out full force. It was great. I was out last weekend, and he was making it 65 degrees, 61 to 69, 67 maybe somewhere in there. But it's crazy because I know a lot of other people in the country are dealing with triple digits, and that sucks. But this is the weirdest place in the world where in August it's Fogust. But
Wonderful.
yeah, what you been up to, buddy?
It's I wish I had something more interesting to say than like raising an infant, but that's a lot of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's your month 2 now, so right? 3?
Yeah,
Two,
coming up on 2 months pretty soon here. Yeah, so that's what my life revolves mainly around that and taking care of the first kid who is a little bit older now and is back at school now, and the new kid who is very new and has lots of demands and likes to make those demands known. So I've been finding time for some games, playing a lot of we'll talk more about it, but I've been playing a lot of Splatoon Raiders, keeping up with Forza Horizon 6, the seasonal stuff, playing some more stuff we'll talk about later, but yeah, that's been a lot of it. I saw we'll talk about that at experience share, but mostly hanging out at home and playing games, trying to force myself to go out aside once in a while because
it's always a good thing.
it's tough because like there aren't a lot of external factors forcing me to go outside aside from like driving my kid to school.
I was gonna say like when you take your kid to school.
But even like my wife is on leave right now, so she's been doing a lot of that stuff so that I can focus on work instead.
Working, yeah.
It's there will be days where I realize like, man, I haven't been outside in like over 24 hours. That's a problem. So I gotta be good about that. I gotta stay on top of not becoming a complete recluse hermit.
Well, you got the Pokemon. I feel like I remember the other week you went out for some Pokemon Go. It was like Max Monday, some Dynamax battles, right? So it's a good excuse to get
getting out there when we can. We're taking the little one out to the park across the street here and there, stuff like that. So just got to stay on top of it. It's easy to fall into the trap of like, oh, well, there's nothing I have to do out in the real world, so I'm not going to go out there. I'm just going to stay inside all day.
Yeah, it is a struggle, and it's like kind of a weird like post-pandemic thing too, because we all dealt with it during the pandemic.
Yeah,
but like some of the habits I think I've picked up too is like getting DoorDash or getting delivery to like save time.
For sure.
Do you guys get a lot of DoorDash in general still, or like still? Not
we've been a lot better about it lately. We'll do takeout more often than we probably should. But we try to pick up when we can because we got to go out and pick up our kid from school or camp or whatever he's doing anyway. So it's usually on the way home. Like, oh, what do you want to pick up on the way home? Or start boiling water. We're having mac and cheese tonight. It's
there you go.
We don't have time to think about anything. We'll have some mac and cheese and roast some veggies, and that'll be that. It's parenting is hard, but we're doing our best.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, that's good that you're kind of making an effort to get takeout. I think not to get over not in this conversation, but I do feel like I think DoorDash is one of the bad habits that I had from the pandemic. The no contact delivery, and it's just a huge, carbon footprint thing. Also, the amount of money it costs is insane.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money. Like, have you ever opened your Chipotle app and made an order and then just toggled between pickup and delivery and just to see the price difference? It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I believe it.
It's nuts. I had a $29 turn into like a $45 order one time just because of all the various like convenience fee and delivery fee and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Um,
I got that for like the McDonald's app because I think what was it when like the K-pop Demon Hunters thing came out, I
oh
wanted to
yeah,
try that, and so I was looking at my options. Okay, I want to try this once. I don't eat McDonald's that often, and then yeah, the difference between delivery and takeout was like 40% or something. It's like all those
madness.
little fees adds up, and then you want to make sure you tip your driver, and then it gets to be pretty insane. But yeah, it's just weird. It just sucks that all of that money is going to like the corporation that owns that platform, right? And they're just putting more and more fees in there, which is kind of stuff that you don't like. We just lump it. They just lump it under fees, and you just look in there, and every day there's like a new one. It seems like
Yeah.
it's just
Whenever we
ridiculous.
are thinking about getting delivery from somewhere, we try to go find their website and
Yeah, that's a good
order
thing to
from
do.
them
Yeah,
directly, like
yeah,
call them. But
yeah,
sometimes it's just like you click and it redirects to their DoorDash page,
yeah.
in which
That's
case, like, okay, well,
yeah.
whatever.
You do what you can do, but I mean,
Yeah.
ideally you'd just go there. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's um,
It can be challenging sometimes. But yeah, that's, the best
yeah.
option is to just go pick it up yourself.
Yeah. So I got this topic just because of the experience. Oh yeah, just getting out there. Yeah, I need like an errand to do if I'm going out, and then if I'm already out, it's like okay, then I will try like a takeout place, or maybe I'll eat there, and if I have an extra 10 minutes, just not to deal with dishes and trash. But yeah, it's tough. But yeah, you gotta keep going. Hopefully, this podcast helps inspire you and other people to do stuff
Yeah, well, especially
outside
I
of
think
gaming.
once my smallest child is just a little bit older, like has the proper shots and stuff taken care of, then we'll be more comfortable going out and doing things in more populated. Because right now, like she's very new, so we're still waiting to get all the
Yeah, like 3 months is kind
nuances.
of a
So,
yeah. I think
yeah,
what's the
maybe.
general range? What's like the youngest you want to like be out in the world? Like when are the first like kind of wave of shots over at or
We're doing. I think at 2 months, there's the first big round of
okay.
shots,
Oh, it's so
but
soon. It's 2 months. Okay.
yeah. So, but we're gonna take it pretty easy.
Okay.
Also
Uh,
for our own sakes, because it's just the two of us and our two children. We don't have family in the area helping us out, so
yeah, that's rough. But
it's tough.
yeah, I was curious just as a friend who does not have a child yet. Like, what's like I was, and for my own knowledge, I was like, what's like the earliest I should like talk to them about doing something? It's like, is it given like their space for 2 months or 3 months or whatnot? Like,
Yeah, I would say if you have friends who are new parents, congratulate them
yeah,
and offer them support, but in specific ways. Don't just say like, let me know how I can help, because they never will. They'll be like, I don't want to
right, yeah,
impose. I don't want to like
yeah.
ask for something, but say like, hey, I would love to buy you lunch tomorrow or something. Like, what do you have
Mm-hmm.
lunch plans tomorrow? I'd love to order your DoorDash for you or something,
Mm-hmm.
like, just to make your, like, take one thing off your plate,
Mm-hmm.
because parents' schedules are just like
So
every
time, they get some
single
time.
moment is either taking care of the baby or planning for whatever the next thing for the baby is, or like dealing with whatever tantrum the baby is throwing and trying to figure out there's a lot of mental load placed on new parents, especially mothers, because of various biological, like, timing reasons. But it's I think the best thing you can do is not only offer to help, but offer to help in a specific way. Say like, I would love to do this for you, or if it's someone you're really comfortable with, like, hey, can I come over and help do your dishes for you, or something, something
Mm-hmm.
like that would be super helpful. If one of my neighbors offered to come over and do the dishes for me, dude, I would be so thankful. That would be amazing.
Okay.
I'm not dropping hints for you or anything here, Andy, but yeah, it's just in like my son, we've got him saying now, like, the laundry never ends, because we keep on complaining about laundry. So now it's kind of a meme around the house to, laundry never ends until you die.
Wow. I mean, that's true. But yeah, I think all right, good to know. Yeah, that's some good advice. Kind of like be specific and offer to
Yeah.
kind of take the mental load off.
Yeah, because it's
Um,
easy to say like, hey, just let me know if I can help. Good luck.
yeah,
And they're never going to reach out. They're never going to ask for help.
yeah, and so yeah,
Offer to help. Yeah.
that's a good social an observation. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's yeah? I guess my question was also more like when is like a good time to like kind of re-socialize again, or is it because I always go, hey, like
Right.
I'm gonna give you your space, and I'll just like you tell me when you're ready to go back in the world again, and I know that obviously that's like for not the furthest thing, but that's low on the priority of the parents' minds. So is
I
there like
started to answer that question and I got
yeah,
totally off track. I was segueing into saying, like, as you're offering your support, you can say something along the lines of like, I would love to,
Meet
grab
so and
lunch with
so. Oh
you
yeah,
guys. I would love to meet the little
yeah,
one. Do you think you'd be free,
yeah.
3 months from now or something? Or
Okay.
when
I
when would you feel comfortable trying to get together?
gotcha.
Or that
Okay.
might even be too much for them to think about
Okay.
at the moment.
I
So like,
maybe asked another way is like, is there a grace period in which we should not say any or not so not you give a space, or does it not even matter? Is there like
don't
a
expect that you're going to see them like easily within the first month or two.
okay,
Like they're though that
couple
time
months?
is
Okay.
totally like in our case. I would say like in like the 2 to 3 month window is when we're going to feel more comfortable starting to tiptoe out into the world and like let people meet the baby and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Good to know. And obviously, everyone's
yeah.
different with the way their timing, but yeah, good to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
as a
and it totally
general,
depends
yeah.
on how cautious you are, you know how careful you want to be with that stuff. Some people will take it a lot more seriously, so different kind of there's a range, there's like a spectrum there, and it's up to each parent, I think.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Yeah, I mean, just as a experienced Sarah section, because yeah, that is a new experience for some of us. So just having navigating that is an interesting learning experience as well. I will say, okay, so I did the opposite of being a parent last weekend and went to a music festival. I did the Outside Lands Festival in San Francisco.
Oh,
Which,
nice.
have you done that before? You must have heard about this
I've heard a
before.
lot about it
Yeah.
over the years, but I've never gone myself. I'm
Yeah.
not really an outdoor all day festival kind of guy. I did that a little bit in my youth, but these days
That's
not
what
so
I
much.
That's what my trainer said this morning too. Like that's when my youth, that was the thing we did. But
Yeah, the
but
Utes.
I'm here to say it's a really cool experience if you are into just culture. I'd say, I mean, kind of like a lot of what this podcast is about too. Um, because I mean, specifically for the Outside Lands experience, because SF is kind of a unique one, is that not only are there bands playing, there's music playing, right? So there's music from all over, all sorts of generations, right? So I saw Death Cab for Cutie on Sunday.
Oh, awesome.
I also saw Rufus the Soul, like Rufus the Soul, which is a more of a house, techno or electronic band. I saw Tinashe, I saw Charlie XCX, and I saw, just like just all sorts of genres and generations. So beyond that, which is great, music is great. But Outside specifically has a lot of great food and beverage and crafts and shopping. Like, so they have winelands there. So there's the section of the festival, and the whole festival takes place in a park. It takes place in Golden Gate Park in San
Oh,
Francisco,
cool.
which is the huge park in the middle of the city. It's the equivalent of Central Park if you've never been to San Francisco before. So the huge ass park in the middle of the city. It spans, I mean, miles. It's really big. So the festival is in like a section of that at the Polo Field. So it's Polo Fields. Sorry. So it traverses a couple of fields and like through a forest. So you get to go through a forest and walk along
Whoa.
with like, there's like they put like little mushrooms up, like, or big mushrooms. Sorry, big mushrooms up for decoration. So it feels like an Alice in Wonderland a little bit. And there's like a nice lady with a bubble maker thing. Those
Nice.
huge hula bubbles that she just kind of like waves around and makes like these like life size bubbles. Always fun for the kids. And I'll say there's a lot of kids there this weekend, and I'm talking like 3 to 4 year olds,
Really?
parents, but the 3 to 4 year olds,
Wow.
little children running around. So
Was it
that's the thing.
crazy packed?
It was pretty packed. I think they expected 75,000 people per day,
Wow.
maybe.
Goodness.
Um, but and I just heard varying degrees of how packed it was throughout
Yeah.
the day and the weekend. I paid extra for the VIP bracelet because I wanted to have an easier experience. So there's like separate areas to like, to view the bands. There's separate areas like, the lounges, meaning like benches and stuff where you can sit down, and bathrooms, and just a separate area. And yes, that's, it is a luxury, but at the end of the day, it was actually a lifesaver because it lets you see more things because you're not worried about not even being able to get into a stage.
Yeah.
And it also kind of puts you away from the teenagers, which is another big, another big contentious point this year. I saw in the news that people meaning the olds, and the olds meaning, millennials, basically were complaining about how there's like just,
Those darn
teenagers running around,
whippersnappers.
those whippersnappers running around with like pushing people and underage drinking and whatever drugs are on and whatever. It sounds very old man yells at old man yells at the
Cloud.
cloud situation.
Yeah.
But as someone who's getting older, yeah, I do get annoyed when my personal space is bumped on for no reason. Like there's the difference between sharing space, and there's a difference between being rude and pushing people for
Yeah.
no reason. I've been in a
Yeah.
mosh pit. Turnstile played this weekend. Turnstile's a great band, which is a great circle pit. That's the time you want to be pushing people, I guess. But yeah, you don't want to be pushing people during Death Cab for Cutie singing uh really slow acoustic songs at noon.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
there's a time and a place, and there's and that. So regardless, yeah, kind of having a separate section does get you out of that, which is by itself worth it. Which
Yeah.
sucks that they have to pay for that, but it is what it is. But yeah, to answer your question, there was a lot of people. But it was pretty doable though. My tip is that go there early, go in the middle of the day, so it starts at noon. Go there as early as possible because there's no line to get in, and when you're there, there's fewer lines to buy anything you want, right? Meaning like so the food is great. The food is actually they have a lot of the great local restaurants and food trucks and pop-ups in the Bay Area. So they have like Smish Mash they do smash burgers in Oakland. They
Oh,
had
cool.
Original Joe's, which is an institution in North Beach here in San Francisco. um, and they have several like Michelin star restaurants. So like even Michelin star restaurants put up uh, booths at this festival because they
Hmm.
really put a priority on really good food. And so
Sweet.
it's really cool to see. One of my favorites places, I go to every Saturday. I go to the Wise Sons Jewish bagel bakery in the farmers market. And this year they did a collaboration with Out of Sight Pizza, which is one of the best new pizza places in
Oh,
SF.
nice.
And so they did a collab, which is cool. And they did like a pizza bagel.
Uh-huh.
Who doesn't love a pizza bagel? Yeah, no, it was really good because it's
Like bagel bites,
but with no, but a real normal
but
size bagel.
like like bagel bites if it was good and large.
Yeah, like imagine like a nice deli bagel, right? Pick your bagel and
Wow,
then
nice.
have pizza on it. It was great.
Sweet.
And good old cacio pepe fries. Gotta shout
When
that
pizza's
out.
on a bagel, you can
Yeah,
have pizza anytime.
yeah. I had a pastrami dip too, and I was like, I wish the pastrami was on the pizza bagel. We combine all three
Oh
things.
my
You got the deli.
God.
That'd be really good. The protein in there. That was really good. Love that.
Just roll me out of
Tried
there.
stuff like Thai tater tots.
What made them Thai?
Well, here's the thing. I thought it was going to be like a pad thai, like kind of sauce with the tater tot, which sounds
Uh-huh.
interesting. It was not. I think it was more like a traditional, like aioli sauce with like.
Okay.
I mean, it tasted. It was good. It wasn't bad, but it was
Was it just regular tater tots, but then like a Thai sauce to dip them in?
kind of, yeah. It was already
Okay.
on it, yeah. And I think you get
I
your
see.
protein too if you wanted your
Oh, I see.
chicken, pork, or tofu.
Sounds good.
But yeah,
I'd do
it
it.
was good, yeah. But
I'll eat
noodles,
it.
there's so many. So the food's really good. Definitely get the food there if you go. But also there's Wineland. So they bring some of the great they bring some wine from the vineyards in Napa and Sonoma. So you got some really high end places. Some places that have like Ashes and Diamonds. I like our friend's a member there, and I go there every quarter or so, and they have really good they fun wines that they bring out. Like I think what did I have? I had a Pinot and I had I think a Cabernet, or no, I had a Pinot and Rosé this year, and yeah,
Mm.
so they have a really good wine from really a high end vineyards that you won't get anywhere else. This is like stuff that's not going to be at Costco or your market. I mean, some of it is, but by and large, it's like really quality stuff. It's not your $2 chuck at Trader Joe's, I'll say. Yeah, and then they had if you like cocktails, if you like drinking cocktails or thing, they have a cocktail section where there's like a whole row of like themed like booze where they dress it up as like a bar in San Francisco, like a thematic bar, and they have magic shows. They got magic shows
Nice.
with their cocktails.
I've been seeing a
Lots
lot of
magic.
ads for illusionists in San Francisco lately. It seems
a
to be a popular thing.
Is that a thing?
right
Huh?
now.
I've not seen that. I just
I've
think
been
of
getting
Job
served a
from
lot of ads for like, oh, come to an intimate night of magic and trickery with so and so. Like, oh, okay,
I could be
alrighty.
convinced. I do like who doesn't like magic?
I
Literally
like
magic.
trickery.
Yeah, trickery. I like
I
to be
like
tricked once in a while.
illusions. Illusions.
Well, maybe that's
Michael.
where they got the talent for a lot of the talent that's all around town now.
Yeah, maybe somebody saw that Instagram ad, went and saw the show, and bada bing,
Yeah.
bada boom.
There you go. But yeah, and then I also did there's like you can do some vintage shopping. So San Francisco is like a local clothing brand maker here, and they were screen printing shirts like on site. So one of the guys who's like really good at it, he's like a designer. He's been doing this for like 20 years. Like, yeah, it's really cool to get, I bought a shirt from them just
Nice.
to get it out there. But they also had like vintage like stuff from years past in terms of merch, but also like from their own collection too. And there's all this other, I mean, there's like flower, you can make flower bouquets, you can do all this, like, there's like a lot of craft stuff you can do.
Hmm.
So yeah, I encourage, anyone and obviously you as well. It's like, when you get the time, obviously, but is that, music festivals aren't necessarily just music nowadays. It's kind of a arts and culture festival too. And then the thing I'll say is that when I was younger and going to these festivals, I was like, oh, I would only go to the music, right? You like, oh, you get like get your drinks and you go straight to the band. And that's all you do. But getting a little older now and kind of like caring less about seeing every minute of every band. Like it's cool. It was cool to like kind of walk around the whole thing and sampling every like portion of what they have to offer, because there's some really cool stuff that is like there and is made better by if you're being with your friends and then you're in like the woods, right, with like a mushroom background and you're having a boba with bubbles kind of coming everywhere, right? It's just like that's a cool experience, just like and there's a
A
lot.
sonic smorgasbord.
What's that?
A sonic
A
smorgasbord.
sonic schmorsburg, yeah, and a visual feast for your eyes as well.
Fun. Fun.
So yeah, highly. I had a great time this year. I know some people were complaining about the crowds, but it was great. It was one of the better ones I've been
Sweet.
to. I've been to like I've almost been to 10 of them, I think I'd say. So, and if you haven't been to here in San Francisco, like it's a great reason to come travel to the city. It's a fun sampling of like kind of a lot of Bay Area stuff, right? You got the food and you got food, drinks, and crafts and clothing and stuff and music, obviously. So
Nice. I forgot to mention one thing. Have you seen Spider-Man Brand New Day?
I have, yes.
Nice. I saw it too. I
You
really
did.
liked it.
You
What
got
did you
out there,
think?
yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing. When you asked what I've been up to, that's one thing I managed to do is my wife generously gave me the green light to
Get the time.
snag a ticket and go catch that movie before stuff got spoiled for me.
Nice. Did you watch it in Infinity Vision?
I don't think that's a thing until Doomsday comes out, right?
No, it's a thing
is
for
Infinity
now.
Vision just like their version of IMAX? Are they just
Nope. It's completely made up. It means nothing. It actually means literally nothing.
Oh,
it is just branding basically they're putting on everything that's not like a normal vanilla screen. So anything that has like either it's Dolby or it's like a laser screen or anything that's like better than normal. Anything that has like a upcharge that lets them upcharge you, basically.
All right. Well, whatever.
That was a joke. Anyway, please go on.
I'll see it. I'm going to see it on the biggest screen I can, probably either way. Yeah. So whatever. Speaking of seeing things on the biggest screen, thank you for the tip on the ticket to the Odyssey. I have a ticket to go see the Odyssey.
Nice.
Soon. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think you texted me. I actually did buy. I may go with you. We'll see. But yeah.
See. Anyway, yeah. Back to Spider-Man Brand New Day. I thought it was great. I think it stepped away from some of the stuff that I feel was kind of holding the character back in the past movies in terms of like, oh, well, he's reliant on these other characters to have an impact on things, or he's constantly in these situations where he's out of his depth, or but this is really they made people have been saying it left and right, they made a street level Spider-Man movie, and it's like the Punisher is in it and he's teaming up with them, and it's not they're not fighting like the intergalactic threats and teaming up with the Avengers and stuff, and it's a better movie for it because it lets them spend more time exploring the dichotomy of Peter Parker and Spider-Man over the course of the movie. I don't want to go too deep into discussing it because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but I thought that the way they handled that throughout the course of the movie was really good. I had some reservations about, because you see Ned and you see MJ in the marketing, and it's like, oh, what are they right off the bat? Are they going to undo everything that they sacrificed at the end of the last movie? And I thought the way that they handled that situation over the course of the movie was also very well done. And the primary antagonist of the film ended up being a very refreshing take on that concept. I don't want to say too much, but it gave Peter interesting challenges to try and overcome versus just beating up a
big monster
bad guy. Yeah. The performances were very good, particularly from Tom Holland and the antagonist.
I mean, it's out there already. You can just say your name because it was
Yeah, I
on
don't know.
talk shows.
I don't know. I still feel weird because I purposefully avoided watching trailers for the movie. I haven't actually seen that bit of information pop up anywhere. Like, if I hadn't seen the movie, I still would not be spoiled on that. So I wouldn't want to be the one to spoil that for somebody.
Yeah. Well, there's an actress.
Anyway.
There's a famous actress that is in the credits for the movie that you could.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, okay. So I'll just say Sadie Sink's character.
there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Yeah, I agree. I think the way they handled the antagonist was great because it kind of built on what you were talking about, how it was a exploration of what it means to be Spider-Man, right? What's Peter Parker's like? What's his mental state like? Especially if he has nobody, or especially if he is left to his own devices, right? He doesn't have his support network around him, and so I think having that, it was an interesting way to layer in the the main antagonistic conflict, but also tie it into his own personal struggles. And I think that it wasn't like there was a split between, oh, we're gonna go fight a big intergalactic threat now, and then, oh, I gotta go home and make sure Aunt May gets her pie. And not the, you know you know what I mean. It's those are, I mean, that is kind of part of what it means to be Spider-Man, but having that a cohesive just narrative and character thread, I think was good for sure.
I think there's been a theme, a pattern that I've noticed in some recent Marvel movies, including the other one that comes to mind in recent memory is Thunderbolts.
Yes.
Lots of pro mental health messaging, pro like be kind to yourself, give yourself grace. I think that type of thing comes up a lot in this movie too, and I thought it was tastefully done, and I appreciate that they're showing that side of these characters.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great that that's more kind of seen as okay, validated, and more normalized. Let's say that for like yeah.
It also had some kick-ass action scenes.
Yeah, the action was good. I think I was gonna say this movie benefited from a real director directing it, and that's shade on John Watts because he sucked. But this movie was destined Daniel Cretton, who you may remember did Shang-Chi, the movie Shang-Chi.
Right.
And his first film actually is not super related. It's actually a great movie called Short Term 12. I don't know if you've heard of this before.
I haven't.
You have to see this movie. It was incredible. I saw it at South by Southwest, the world premiere in 2013. But it's a really great movie about I think it's about orphans in like a home that's kind of some of the kids are have issues, mental health issues, and it's about some of the two of the I don't know if they're counselors or whatever, therapists, and kind of just them dealing with the kids, and it's very, very down to earth, very, I mean, you can kind of see it coming through in the Peter Parker stuff, is that it's very humanized, right? It's very the emotions real, the struggles are real, and it's very just raw and real. And that movie had an incredible cast. It had both Brie Larson and Rami Malek in it before they were famous.
Wow.
And if you go to see the IMDb, there's a huge litany of amazing stars in it. But that was the first movie I saw that Destin directed, and ever since that day, I'm on the Destin trains. I will see anything that he directs. And so it's interesting to see that now he's done a bunch of Marvel movies. So I guess at least two of them. And he also did the show Wonder Man that was
the
early
Marvel
this year.
one.
Well, yeah, which is one of the better shows they've done actually, which also kind of it feels more rooted in the kind of the mental state of being a superhero and human. But he's really good at action. I mean, we saw Shang-Chi had some amazing action sequences in it.
It did,
including the one in SF, right, with the Muni.
The bus. That was the first one that came to mind, was that bus fight scene. So
yeah. So yeah, this movie is really good action sequences. I mean, it's because we got a good director doing it, so it's gonna help. But also,
lots of homages. I saw people pointed out online, like they did literal like frame perfect like recreations of a bunch of comic book iconic shots and covers and stuff. They like lined those up as scenes in the movie. Really cool stuff.
That was cool too. And then I mean, I thought you were gonna say homages to Insomniac's Spider-Man games because a
That
lot of those
too.
were very specific.
Yes.
I think he actually mentioned in interviews that that was their goal was they wanted to incorporate more of that because a lot of their their stunt choreographers and mentioned that, oh, look at this cool scene that we did, oh, that was in one of the games, and it was like, yeah, that looks cool, let's make it happen. And cool
Yeah.
that they made some of that stuff happen because it does look really cool and
There were certainly
looks so
some fight
natural.
scenes where I was like, "Whoa, I feel like I should be countering that attack right now."
Yeah, or even like I mean, there's an early car chase scene where like Peter is like or Siren is in the on the skyscrapers, and he's like you follow him as he dives down and swings, and
Yeah.
that's there's someone did a side by side video of that with like an Insomniac game, and it was pretty like spot on, but
Nice.
it's just cool because they did. I mean, Insomniac has done an amazing job of making the feeling of swinging through Manhattan like. It just feels right, and I
Mhm.
think that's
Mhm.
cool that they got to capture that because I mean, honestly, I don't think they do that well in Spider-Man movies. Like, they don't really capture
Yeah.
that kinetic kind of like speed and like
I
and just
thought
like
they
freeiness.
I thought they did a pretty good job with that stuff in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I thought they got the
Mm,
physicality down pretty well in those ones, in the
I've kind
Andrew
of forgotten
Garfield
those.
ones.
I've kind of forgotten
Um,
those.
and it might just be that Andrew Garfield played it well, but
Yeah, Garfield's a great.
man,
Yeah,
it's too bad that he got kind of the short end of
yeah,
the stick there.
he was a good
He
Spider-Man.
was a really good Peter.
I loved his quips. He was actually the
Yeah,
only funny one. Like he did the quips really well. Like
yeah,
Toby is more of the introspective Peter, but yeah, Garfield was really good at the jokes or
yeah.
the
I
comedic
agree.
timing. I'll say.
I feel like that's another area where Tom Holland kind of came into his own in this movie too, was becoming a very confident, quippy, one-linery
A little
Spider-Man.
more, yeah. It wasn't
Um,
not the level of Garfield, but yeah, it's better than it has been.
yeah, I feel like it was a good level because he always was kind of like a little oh shucks in
Yeah,
the
it's more the aw shucks kind of, yeah. Like,
yeah.
Mr. Stark. Yeah,
There was a lot less of that in this one because he doesn't have anybody to lean on.
yeah.
So
It's also his fourth one too, so it's been a
yeah.
while. I mean, so he's
Yeah,
done
I
this for more
saw
than
I saw
anyone else.
someone put a picture of him from Homecoming in next to a picture of him in Brand New Day, and it's like he grew up, man. I forgot he was just a kid back then.
I mean, he still looks like a kid. He looks like
Yeah,
he's
but
got
he
that
looks
baby
like a
face.
much older kid
He looks
now,
like an older kid. Yeah, he does
a
look
much
like he's
larger
aged.
kid.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely bigger,
Yeah,
rougher, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I think overall, no, I liked it too, and I think it's still your mileage may vary if you're not a Marvel person. Like I love
sure.
Marvel. I've seen every movie and I've read every comic book, and I know kind of when I'm not being pandered to, but I know when there's a lot of fan service stuff, and there's a lot of great, interesting cameos in this movie. Cameos are like short side characters that come into play, and I'm like, for me, that's awesome. It's like, oh, there's that person, that person, that person. That's great. I know where they are, what the context is, and whatnot. But imagine if you didn't know any of that, it'd kind of feel more random. So it'd be curious to see, like, people feel that way if they're not in the Marvel movies. But I do know that this
Yeah,
movie, Spider-Man's the most popular thing in the world right now. Like literally, that's the biggest franchise. It outgrows the Avengers. Like this is it. This is like the biggest thing in culture or a movie or just blockbuster culture we have right now.
I've loved
So,
Spider-Man since I was a kid. This is the first time in the Marvel movies, I think, where uh, I didn't come away from it saying that was a good movie, but because like with
mm,
what was the last one?
No
No
Way
Way
Home.
Home. With
Yeah,
that one, it was like that was a good movie, but I wish it didn't lean so much on the
the
cameos
nostalgia.
and the
It's a nostalgia bait. Yeah,
let's pull it. Yeah, without that stuff, it's less of a movie. I
yeah.
think.
It's not really a movie. I'll say.
Yeah,
I mean, I had a good
and
time, but yeah, not a movie.
and then with the other one, it's like, oh yeah, it's good, but I wish he wasn't like playing sidekick to Tony Stark. This is the first one where it's like this is just a straight up great Spider-Man adventure. I don't feel like there are any real like caveats. I don't feel like
Mhm.
there's a like, yeah, it's good, but I wish like I feel like no, this was just like a straight up solid ass Spider-Man movie.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think we both agree on this. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
because I'm actually not a huge Spider-Man fan. I do appreciate the character, and I do like have seen all the movies, but he's not my favorite character. So,
yeah.
I like the X-Men. The X-Men are kind of my Marvel thing.
Oh, you're probably
Also
excited for Doomsday
Dooms. Oh yeah. Well, I'm more excited
because
for an
they're
actual movie. Like, then
well,
don't
yeah,
be in
just
it. I
they're
don't care.
starting to lay the groundwork
Yeah,
for
I
X-Men
don't
starting
know.
to come into
That doesn't excite me. I need to see how they all come together, and I want to watch. Oh my gosh, the directors escape me right now, but they've announced some casting already for it, so we'll see.
Oh,
But
nice.
uh,
That'll be the next Avengers
the
level
actual
movie.
X-Men
Will be
movie, yeah.
the X Men team up movie.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But in general, in terms of like the comic book stuff, that's like more the one I hold closer to heart. But I do appreciate Spider-Man, and they've done a great job with the character. Sorry, this movie did a pretty solid job with it. So yeah, no, audiences agree.
Speaking,
It's gross. It's gonna be huge, crazy $2 billion movie. It's gonna be nuts.
unrelated note, because it just reminded me of it. X-Men on Sega Genesis. How cool is it? That one part where you have to actually press the reset button on the Do you remember that?
I didn't
There's
think
a
I got to that
part.
point.
There's a part when I haven't
This sounds like
done
Metal
it
Gear
myself.
Solid.
I've seen it on it kind of. I've only seen people talk about it online, but there's a part in the game where it's like you need to reset the computer and you need to be the one to push the button, and someone figured out like you actually you're supposed to figure out you actually have to push the reset button on your Sega Genesis, and that triggers like the reboot sequence on the computer in the game.
That's so cool. I had no idea.
Wild. Yeah.
What if people
and
didn't
that
do
was
it?
before Metal Gear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Way before. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if do you
Cool
just not
stuff.
proceed if you don't do that? Because I feel like that would be worried about losing my game. I'd be like, oh, why'd I do that?
I remember there was a part in, I think, Metal Gear Solid 2, the part where the Colonel is like freaking out over the comms because he's like an AI or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's
but he says there's a part where he comes on the comms and he says, "You need to turn off your game system right now." I was like, what? And it was like 11:30 p.m. Little teenage Justin sitting here like scared out of his mind. What are you talking? Why are you talking to me? Stop yelling at me, game.
Kojima. Good, yeah. Yeah. No, that's amazing stuff. Oh, wait, real fast too. Also, do you remember? Are you a Middle Earth fan? Lord of the Rings, Tolkien. Okay.
I liked the movies, but that's about as far as I go with it. Yeah, I read The Hobbit when I was in school. I tried to read the Lord of the Rings books and just couldn't do it.
Okay, all right, right on.
It's just I'm not a good book reader. It's tough for me to stay focused on something for that long.
I bring it up because I did go to Magic the Gathering pre-release for the new set. And the new set is The Hobbit.
Oh, cool.
And so
I'll know some of that stuff.
What's that?
Well, I will know some of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I haven't read The Hobbit since I was a kid, but I think there's characters and spells in it that are literally from The Hobbit. Everything is from The Hobbit. Sorry, nice. But there's some of the references in lore like I kind of have forgotten by now. But it was cool to go to an event. It's apparently one of that's the one at the pre-release. So pre-release is kind of where you go before the set comes out. They give everyone 6 packs, and then you build a deck out of it, and you play a sealed deck with people.
Oh, cool.
So it's fun because like no one's seen the cards before, so it's super casual, super nice. People are generally quiet. I go to this place called Dog Patch Games down in the Dog Patch District in SF, which I like because everyone there is really chill. There's sometimes you get the odd sweaty person or two, which is fine, but by and large everyone's just cool, and it's a cool space they have there. There's like lights and there's like kind of cool decorations, and they're next door to a boba place and the lasagna place, and they will deliver to you, so it's great.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, this was their most popular pre-release ever, I think, because everyone loves Middle Earth. I didn't realize this. I've forgotten about this, but it's packed. I ran into some of the IGN.
It seems like a
there.
natural overlap with Magic the Gathering too.
Yeah, and I think that's why people like it, is because it actually is Magic. It's Magic adjacent, meaning it works
high
perfectly,
fantasy,
right?
orcs and elves.
Yeah, elves, magic, swords and sorcery, wizards, goblins, orcs, name all that. Same with Final Fantasy, actually. So, for those of you who don't know, like for Magic, they do this thing called Universes Beyond, where they cross over other IP and franchises into the Magic world, and Magic players hate this. Magic players do not like it when you put a SpongeBob in your, sword and sorceries, or when you put the Avengers and Spider-Man. So you got a New York City versus some mystical elf land, right? It doesn't really make sense. But
what was one of the silly cards you posted the other day?
They had Garfield Secret Lair. So I got Garfield.
That's right.
I have a Garfield counterspell, which is him slapping Jon Arbuckle in the face, which I think is hilarious. That's why I got it. I do have. Sometimes you got to lean into it. But
you can play Garfield in Magic the Gathering now.
Those are just like skins, essentially. So they're like kind of those small 6-card packs that reskin old cards with like new artwork. So it's not like you have to buy them. They're literally just cosmetics.
You have to glue the new card on top of the old one.
No, you don't do that. But that would be tough, I think. But for the actual sets though, so they've been putting like Marvel and Spider-Man into the Magic the Gathering verse, and people hate it because it just doesn't belong, right? It's like you cast your Spider-Man having pizza spell or the Ninja Turtles, and then you got Thranduil, Elven Council, or King or leader of the elves here, and with Bilbo and and Gandalf. And I was like, I mean, yeah, it's cool to have everything together like it's Fortnite, but it does, it
Exactly.
just
It's everyone wants that Fortnite money.
yeah, and I mean that's clearly Hasbro knowing that they can print money, or they're trying to bring all these audiences in, which I get as a business standpoint. You want to introduce new players to your game, right? But there's got to be a balance between kind of like squeezing that IP sponge rock blood from a stone, essentially. But long story short, but the Hobbit is was a huge success because it is like the right way of doing that. It's a cool way of having the crossover from another IP or whatever we're gonna call it, but with things that make sense thematically. And so
So
this is done
the
really
Magic
well.
fans are begrudgingly like, fine, I'll let you
Yeah,
have the Hobbit.
yeah. I mean, some actually love it. Like it's
Yeah.
our good friend Post Malone. We're
Our
actually
good
friends with
friend of
him.
the show,
Friend
Post
of the show,
Malone.
Post Malone. But Post Malone's a huge Magic the Gathering fan, but he also loves Middle Earth. And famously, I don't know if you know the story about how he got the One Ring. So they released a Lord of the Rings Magic or Middle Earth Magic set in 2023. There's this whole set on it, and as part of like the promotion to get people to buy cards, they put one. There's a called the One Ring, which is an artifact spell that's of the One Ring in Lord of the Rings, but they made a one of one variant of it. So there's only one in the entire
Wow.
world. It's kind of like the Charlie and Chocolate Factory, right? It's like
I
one
was going to
person.
say it's Wonka's golden ticket. Yeah.
Yeah. So one person in the whole world, one person out of all the packs that were distributed that was able to buy it, you could pull that card and it's worth a lot of money, obviously, because it's only one card. And so I think some guy in Toronto, I think a Costco worker in Toronto managed to open it. And I guess Post Malone caught wind of this. And so he ended up buying the card from him for $2 million. $2 million, which is insane for a piece of cardboard, first of all.
So that guy's
One of
probably
one.
not working at Costco anymore.
Hopefully, he has enough to not work at Costco anymore.
Yeah.
I think they worked it out, so I think some of it were going to, like a portion of it would go to charity, and
Okay.
he would get some. Obviously, he'd be well compensated, hopefully.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
But Posty would have his like special One Ring card because he loves both things. Right? He
Yeah.
loves Magic and he loves Lord of the Rings. And so I'd say it
Cool.
was a cool story, just like see
That
that.
is
But
cool story.
but yeah, I mean, as one of the biggest pop/country stars out there right now. He's a musician, pop stars. Yeah, and he's young. He's youngish. He's in his 30s, but he just turned 30, I think, actually last year.
Nice.
But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be a nerd now. Cool to play Magic. Cool to like fantasy stuff.
Heck yeah, dude.
But it's one of the few crossover I think that Post likes as well. In addition to a lot of other Magic players. But yeah, no, it's cool to go to the event, and I was just saying I ran into some of the IGN guys there, some of the reviews team,
Oh,
and so
nice.
it was cool because a lot of them don't. The guy I played with didn't actually play Magic. Like he plays Magic, but only for like hanging out purposes, like with his coworkers and his friends and
He
his.
only plays Magic socially.
Yeah, he only plays Magic socially, but he's a huge Lord of the Rings guy. So
Uh,
he was going to regale me with all these like lore of like every single card. Had be a time, but unfortunately, I tried to ask him like questions where I could, but we were timed on our game, so we couldn't like really dilly dally that much.
Sure. Yeah.
But I would have loved to see that. He had a great like cool play mat that had like a map of Middle Earth too. It was really cool.
Nice.
But it was cool just to meet new people, right? This is like speaking of meeting people and sharing experiences. It's cool to just to go out in person. I was actually talking to another guy there. I was lamenting the digitalness of when we play games with each other now, right? And a lot of it's obviously logistics or just physicality of I can't go to my friend's place in New York right now. But but if you can, it's like always great to play in person, right? Playing
Yeah.
board games, playing actual card games, like
Yeah.
doing things together in person. It's nothing like it. It just feels much better, for lack of a better
Yeah.
word. But it feels like with the real human, you get the tangibility of the cards. You get to like do stuff. You can take back things. You can take back an action. Say, oh, can you let me redo that turn or whatever. It's just it's great to do that. So I make it a point to do this now. So obviously, I think when we do these episodes, if I go to one of these, I'll definitely try and mention it. But this one,
Yeah, you've
this one's
gone to a
highlight for
bunch
sure.
of them. Have they all been kind of the same structure, same setup? Have you noticed them? Like, have you noticed the venue figuring out ways to make the experience smoother for everybody over the course of like you going to a bunch of these?
No, because they've already figured it out. I mean, this is like their most popular thing every quarter or so. So
Nice.
they already do that well. The thing I know is like the people who go to each one of the sets. So because the last set I went to was for Marvel superheroes. Speaking of that, and there was nobody there. There was like 9 people there. I mean, maybe on a
Wow.
Saturday, but there was very few people there. They
That's
just filled the entire
crazy.
thing. So I was just in contrast to the Hobbit, where it was sold out like months in advance, or sorry, weeks in
Okay.
advance, and the entire place was packed. It's the difference of in the Marvel versus that is was really interesting to see, because you would
Huh.
think, yeah, generally you would think, oh, Marvel is a huge IP, people would go, but
Yeah.
people just don't want that in their fantasy card game,
Yeah, I guess
you
that's
know.
an interesting lesson that like even if it's a huge IP, you still need to make sure that it's
It's a
thematically
fit. It's a good
congruent
fit.
with what your
Yeah.
audience is looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's also stuff where it does work, because I do. I mean, I have friends who are into Marvel but not Magic, and I actually bought a beginner box for them. Like I bought you guys an Avatar box. I
Right,
bought
yeah.
them a Marvel beginner box for him to play
Nice.
with his young son, and I was like, yeah, this is actually, and he appreciates it. That's a good gift, But it gets them both into the game, and it gets more. I was like, for him, it's more like, oh, he can show his son like, here's like, the different heroes, or here's all the, because each one of them have a card, right? So it's cool to learn and kind of learn to read and learn to to get familiar with all the characters and stuff. So that's kind of fun. So
Yeah.
in that sense, I think it's good. So I think there's ways you can kind of have both, but we'll see. But yeah, it's a
Cool.
it's a fun thing. Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about games. I know we're getting into a conversation, but I just want to
Hmm.
just kind of go into what games we're playing, because I think our big topic today is going to be about cooperative games. But I think
Yeah.
before we get in there, I think we want to just share kind of what we've been playing recently.
Yeah,
Go for
couple shout outs from
it.
me for a couple upcoming indie releases. Blood Dungeon, which I've mentioned before, comes out later this month. It's from Messhoff, who made Nidhogg and Nidhogg 2, also made Fly Wrench and Wheel World. Their new game is Blood Dungeon, and I've been playing the demo a lot, and it's super fun, so highly recommend that. Cult of Pin is the other one. I just found this one a couple days ago. It's a roguelike pinball game with lots of like monstery, tentacly, demonic kind of design cues, but it's also like kind of like cell shaded ish looking. Like it's a
Ooh.
very interesting art style. I recommend. It's hard to describe and like really sell it in audio form, but if you have the means, I would recommend looking up Cult of Pin on
What kind of
Steam.
pinball game is it? It's a pinball game. That's a what? That's a
Yeah,
rogue?
it's a pinball game, but it's a rogue
Rogue?
like where you can unlock more stuff as you go, get more powerful thing. I think it's a rogue like. Wait,
Is it like
is
Ball
it?
Pit then?
No, it's not like Ball Pit. No, because Ball Pit is like Breakout.
I guess it's a
Where
breakout. Yeah.
yeah, no, this is an actual pinball game with flippers.
Okay. Okay. So flip. Okay.
But actually, is it roguelike? Wait, am I mixing it up? No, anyway, it's very fun to play.
Cult of Pin.
I just started playing it. Like I'm maybe like 2 or 3 hours into it at this point, but I'm having a great time with it. So shouts out to that one. I'm playing the demo. I think the full game launches like within a couple days as of recording here, so I'm probably gonna buy that soon. And then the other one is Splatoon Raiders. And I'm going to have a lot more to say about this, I think, as we get into our main conversation. But my son and I have both been playing Splatoon Raiders since it came out, and we're both infatuated with it. We both love it.
Yeah, you're talking about the last couple of episodes, I think, or last episode at least. Yeah.
He's at the last boss now. I'm deep into the end game. Unfortunately, excuse me. Even though it has multiplayer functionality, we have not played together yet because in order to play with another person, you need to both have a Switch 2 and you need to both have a copy of the game. There's no like split screen, like play with your kid mode here, at least that I can find. So he doesn't know it yet, but we actually bought a second copy of the game. We got a physical copy. I had a digital on my Switch, so my wife picked up a physical copy the other day. We're gonna give it to him at the end of the week as a congrats on your first week of school. Like you did a
Nice.
great job. We got you
Nice.
this to celebrate, and then we'll
Yeah.
spend part of the weekend playing some co-op Splatoon Raiders. But yeah, I'm kind of frustrated that I had to buy 2 copies of the freaking game to play it with my son. But that is how they get you.
Yeah, I feel like the art of it as local co-op has been kind of thrown out the window for the last decade or so more. I
But
don't know. It's not really a thing.
A2 Nintendo, like come on, like if anybody should have like a split screen mode, it's a Nintendo game. Come on.
Yeah. Did they have co-op? So it's in co-op for the new Halo thing, that's a Halo campaign involved. Is there a split screen for that?
I don't know. I think so. I'm not sure.
I'm just
Oh
gonna.
wait, no. Is this the one where there was initially a hubbub about, oh, you have to have PlayStation Plus, and then they were like, wait, no,
Yeah,
you don't have to have PlayStation
you
Plus to
don't.
play
Yeah,
local split
there
screen,
is
but
two player local
you
split screen.
have
I
to
just
log
double checked it.
into an account. I think yeah, it's anyway, it's hard to play games in the same room these days on a video
Yeah,
game console.
I think just this is one of those situations where the data shows that no one is doing this on locally, and therefore everything's
Because
online
you won't let
now.
me.
Well, it's also yeah, but it's one of those
Yeah.
things where it's also like the data doesn't tell the whole story, and you
Right,
have
it
to kind
doesn't.
of
Yeah.
there's
Um,
ways of doing this where you can anyway. But yes, go on Splatoon reviews.
yeah, I mean, like it's. I feel like there should be ways for like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to complain endlessly about it, but yeah, they got me. I bought a second copy of the game because we like it so much, and I really don't want to miss the opportunity to share this experience of this game that we both really enjoy. I don't
Mm,
want to miss the opportunity to play it together with him.
hmm
It's kind of like you were saying that people were comparing it, looking at it as kind of like a tongue in cheek replacement to Destiny, but
hmm.
it has some of those vibes, like squat up and go take on. It's like baby
There's a strike.
strikes.
There's
It's
strikes.
like
There's like missions. Mini
it's like
missions.
just running strikes over and over,
I
but
see.
if they were 5 minutes or less.
Ooh, okay. Some
They're
mini
like little
strikes. Okay.
bite-sized things, and you get better gear, you upgrade so that you can do harder
Are there
stuff. You
bosses?
equip, yes, they're bosses.
Okay.
You equip mods to your gadgets, which are on cooldowns.
hmm
You upgrade your weapons with different perks that you can synergize with the stuff on your gadgets. Like it's a build crafter's dream. It's a lot of fun to tinker with the different loadouts that you can come up with, and I have come up with some truly powerful ones. I'm deep into the end game thing. I won't say what it is for anyone who's still working their way through the game, but there's a post game thing that unlocks after you see the credits,
Okay.
and I'm deep into that. I've looked online and found out that there is like a once you get to a certain point of that, you get like a secret ending, and then that's like, okay, you're done now. But it technically goes like forever if you want to keep trying to see how far you can go.
Is this game more
Um,
about the camp, like the story and the campaign, or is it more about the kind of leveling up and kind of doing something together kind of thing and
Yes.
getting better gear?
It's a single player focused game. It's not intended to be like they're marketing literally like the lead marketing bullet point is a single player focused Splatoon game. So it's very much like you can do multiplayer, but then they also have like it's really fun to like just hit the go help button, get queued up with some random people who need a third person, go tear it up with them,
Oh,
and
they'll
then boom,
matchmake you.
split
Okay.
ways. Yeah, you can matchmake. So I don't know. It's kind of mixed signals, but I think it's because they really wanted to differentiate it from the mainline multiplayer Splatoon games and capture the people who might be hesitant to get into Splatoon because they don't like multiplayer games. I think that's what they were trying to achieve by marketing it as a single
Yeah.
player
But
focused
is the
Splatoon
story
game.
actually
But
good? Is it like fun to play through, or is
it's
it
fine. It's
it's
fine.
fine? Okay,
Yeah.
it's what I would expect from a Splatoon
I'm
Nintendo
not. Yeah,
story.
it's a Splatoon story. It's fine.
It's a
Like
yeah.
there's some cute moments, and some of the cutscenes are pretty fun. But it's you're not playing this game for the story. It's you're not gonna. Um, it's not like you'll laugh, you'll cry.
It's not gonna move
It's
you. Yeah.
it's
Okay.
more like yeah, you'll chuckle, you'll giggle. It's fun.
Okay.
It's a fun story. I enjoyed it. Lots of fun character moments. If you're into like Splatoon lore and like the characters, there's a little bit of fun development on that stuff. But it doesn't take too many risks, I don't think.
Okay.
But it's really fun. It's more about just playing the game, the moment to moment gameplay, the progression of your character and your skills and your loadout, and your base. You build up your base
Ooh,
over
it's
time
base building.
to unlock more stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to like in this game. Um, the main thing that I am going back and forth about, and I saw somebody else bring this up a few days ago, is the idea that it feels like it was almost designed as like a live service game. It's kind of structured like a live service game where it's
Yeah.
like keep getting more and more powerful and keep chasing the loot, get on the loot treadmill and never get off. But in this case, you eventually get off. You get to a point where it's like, okay, you've done everything now. Like you can go play a different
Okay.
game now. And
That's good.
I've seen some people lamenting that fact, like, no, they should make it a live service. But like, well, hold on. Like, the question then becomes, would this game still be as good as it is and in Beloved? Would it still be such a tight focused experience if it was beholden to the obligations of a live service game, of
Mm,
having to churn out years worth of content and keep audiences happy and adapt to community feedback. And, it's a whole different ballgame if you're making a game that is meant to be updated over time.
hmm.
So it's an interesting thing to see Nintendo getting so close to making a live service game with Splatoon Raiders. And I hope that we see a big expansion down the line, because there's a lot more room to play in that sandbox with like the different gadgets and weapons, and even like the tanks you can equip. There's a lot of fun stuff they could do with that.
Cool. Yeah, no, it seems like it, and I still have yet to get past the tutorial, which I saw. That's where I stopped when I bought the game, but
Well, if
it's
you
on my to-do
do,
list.
let us know. We'll happily hop in and run some raids with you.
Sounds good. Definitely will. It's on my list of things to do after I finish some of my current titles, which I've played some Marvel Tokon Fighting Soul. That's the name of the game.
Nice.
Which is amazing for as a Marvel fan, as we heard earlier, but it's beautiful too. And but yeah, that's just kind of like a side thing, because I'm not really a big fighting game, like competitive fighting game person. I just like kind of dabbling and seeing the story modes and stuff. But the games I've been spending the most time with are well, one is Big Walk, which is, I just want to get that out because that's kind of the big news in the gaming world in the last couple of weeks, is that this is a game
Uh-huh.
of year contender, right? It's got 90 plus in Metacritic, OpenCritic, and it's awesome. It's probably I might be my game of the year. I know it's recency bias. I'm not even done with it yet, but I'm like, this is so cool. So I want to get into that a little bit. But the other game I'm playing right now, strangely enough, is also another co-op game. It's called Little Nightmares 2. Oh, sorry, Little Nightmares 3, not 2.
Oh, nice.
3. It's the third one. Which, have you played any of the other ones before, or any of them before?
I've admired them from afar. Not really my
Yeah,
vibe.
same. I think when we were at PS, we did some editor's choice picks for the 1 and 2, which I think
Yeah,
our friend Kristen was really into those, and I always had it in my backlog to play, but never did. But I got the third one on sale on Black Friday last year, I think, for my Switch too, and I got it because it's co-op. The only reason I got it is because it's co-op.
really.
Because I was looking for a game to play with one of my buddies, who's not in the country. He's in Canada, but we I just they landed on that because it's a cool. It's bite sized. It's over in, like, 5 to 6 hours. And one of the coolest part is that, to your point about the copies, that you only need one copy of the game. So the game has like a friend pass thing where if you are playing online with somebody, your friend, they can just download the friend pass version of the game for free. And as long as one person owns the full game, then you're able to connect to each other and
That's
play.
awesome.
Which is,
I
yeah,
love
I
that. That's
love.
a great practice.
Yeah,
Hazelight always does that
Hazelight
with their
does that.
games too.
Yep. Yep. And there's I mean, actually earlier this year, Reanimal did the same thing. Reanimal, the other Tarsus game, or the new game by the people who originally made Little Nightmares, the studio did. Um, that's also a similar situation where you can just get one person needs the game on whatever, which is great. And
Nice. That's
it's
cool.
great for these co-op games because I think for this game specifically, you need a co-op person to play this. I think you get an AI buddy if you don't have a person, at least. You can play it single player, but it's nowhere as fun, and
Not the
it's
same
not the
experience.
same, especially when I think it was designed for two players, so there is
Yeah.
that. But yeah, we actually just finished last night after a few sessions. God, there's this. We'll talk about this in a couple minutes. I know we keep teasing this, but the act of playing a co-op game is so cool. It's so fun because you and a buddy can, like, hang out with for a couple hours and just feel like you're accomplishing something together. And this game specifically, there's like platforming, there's some puzzles, but there's some action sequences, I'll say loosely. And this is the most frustrating part to me, is we were gonna throw our controllers on the screen because there's like these like chase scenes in the game where it's like a quick time event. Imagine a quick time
Yeah.
event with no cues, no button cues, and you
So like
fail if you
Dragon's
are.
Lair.
Well, yeah, you fail. The fail states are many abound, and if you
That
are
sucks.
1 second like too slow or too fast, you lose. And we were just so pissed by the end because I don't know whether it was a bug in the game or the game was just poorly designed. But there's a sequence in there where we literally were on one section that we knew what to do, but we could not get past it for 40 minutes because whatever reason, it just would not, the inputs were bad or whatever. It's so frustrating. And we couldn't skip it. There's no like accessibility options for, skip current scene, or even to make that just getting through it because we knew what to do, and it was like it wasn't a skill based thing. It was just we had to do something at a very specific way that the designers want you to do, and it's just not fun. And people and studios should not do that, especially for a game that's co-op. So that was really frustrating, and it kind of what would have been like a 8.0 experience, but I was like, I'm gonna give this a 4. No, I'm not that bad, but just that just leaves you with such a bad taste in your mouth, right? When you get something that's just you don't feel like as a player you have control over it. Like we can't outskill it. It's just weird, just and whether it's lag, whether it's whatnot, but we should not normalize QuickTime events and co-op games where both players have to do that.
I thought we as a society have moved past QuickTime events.
Yeah, I mean, is it a QuickTime event if there's no buttons on the screen to press? You have to do this on your own, which I guess is a little more skill based, but not really because there's only one way to do it. You can't really, there's no. Yeah. It's not like you can parry better or dodge better. Nope, you gotta just do the thing. But other than that, it's it's a fun experience. Just get that. But this is kind of like and we'll talk about what makes a co-op game bad, but this is the thing that makes it bad, is that it kind of takes you out of the flow, right? Because we're jumping around, we're solving puzzles, we're helping each other, we're like figuring things out, and then all of a sudden you get to this like wall of QuickTime event where you lose all momentum. And I wasn't cracking jokes anymore. I was just like silent. I was like, I just want to get through this. Oh my God. I was just, it just kills all kind of your, it saps the joy out of the game.
That sucks.
So that's a bummer.
Well, but, there's another layer of frustration when it's a co-op thing, because then
it's both.
There's like, man, you're either frustrated at the other person or you're frustrated at yourself, feeling like you're letting people down, letting them down, and it's like, yeah, you got to be careful designing co-op games, man. There's nuance to it.
Yeah, and I think there's other ways of designing co-op games which are the right way, and I'll say Big Walk is that for sure. So Big Walk is an interesting beast. It's, for those of you who don't know, it's a co-op game that supports between 2 and 12 players. And
up to 12?
12 players can play this game.
Wow.
I think 12 would be a little too much. I think it would just be chaos. Not chaos. It would just be chaotic, rather, depending on the type of people you have in your friend group. But it's essentially like an open world The Witness meets Breath of the Wild. That's that's where my comparisons first go, because like Breath of the Wild, you can go anywhere after you get past the first tutorial island area, whatever. You can do anything on this island, and the island is big. So you're on an island with your friends. It's really fun because it's made by House, so it's really silly. House did the Untitled Goose Game, and you play as these little like kind of humanoid blob looking things with like big dopey googly eyes and kind of a snout and like kind of silly arms that you can kind of wave around like a Muppet. So it's colorful. It's kind of like really childlike wonder. But the interesting thing about this game is that there's voice chat in the game, but you can only hear, there's a prox chat, so you can only hear the people around you. And if you actually turn away from somebody, the game will actually sound more muffled. So you actually have to turn to the person to talk to them. So it's very kind of realistic in that sense. And the game is designed around this. So if you play this game, do not use any party like chats or Discord or phone calls or whatnot, because that kind of ruins the game. Because there's puzzles that are designed where you're meant to only be heard, in a certain area or proximity, or there's like items in the game like that will let you kind of extend your voice, and that's kind of the games are designed around that. And there's like soundproof rooms, obviously, and other stuff so yeah, definitely do not play it with other stuff. And don't text. I mean, the way you're supposed to play, you don't communicate with people either, because it's actually kind of fun if you get lost to find each other again. It's like you feel, oh, hey, there you are. It's like losing your kid at the Disneyland and finding them without any help. Obviously, with more with less risk, because you're not going to have your child kidnapped, but you could get lost at the. There's no stress about it. I mean, the most I'm stressed out about is I'm going to lose half an hour trying to find my friend.
So, did you guys come up with a plan ahead of time? Like, okay, if we get separated, let's meet back up here.
Yeah. So I think what we've done at some points is that so the times we've gotten lost are like, oh, we're all doing a thing, and like somebody like goes the wrong way, but then we remember, oh, we were gonna go to this thing, so why don't we go to that landmark because that's the last thing we told them to go to.
Mm.
And then if I get lost, I think yesterday happened too, and I just kind of like hung around the area where I last saw them, and so
Have there
it's
been any situations where you guys were like, "Look, I can't find you." Like text, like just where are you? I need to find you.
yeah, I think it actually was yesterday because I think what happened was that somebody's internet went down,
Uh,
and it was just in the interest of okay, we have only 2 hours to play. We're not gonna like I don't want to
sure, yeah,
it's yeah, it's
reasonable.
just doesn't
Yeah,
make
I
sense
get
to
it.
do that.
That's
But
like
there's
that's an asterisk. It's fine.
yeah, but there's been temptations, yeah, I guess. But I think
Yeah.
I think we all had the understanding of okay, we're gonna play it as intended. And so there's things in the game that let you kind of find each other, right? So there's like flares. You can shoot flares in the air.
I was gonna make a joke about just firing a flare gun. That's
You can
funny.
there's the flares that are around the map. There's actually flare guns too. There's radios, so you can kind of like there's radio that you can communicate to certain consoles throughout the island.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's but the game is really interesting because it's you and friends, and there's no like threats, right? There's no like nothing's gonna eat you at night. There's no invading. There's no so it's you have this element of safety and well that lets you kind of be silly and be kind of un, uninhibited, I guess I'll say in the word. But yeah, and it's cool because each of the puzzles is designed to be done co-op. So there's the reason why you can't play the single player is because all the puzzles are designed for communication.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because it's
And
you
the
really
game, the island, like spawns slightly different permutations based on how many people are playing, right?
yeah. So I kind of tested this, and you can every time you start your save game, you can choose how many people. So it scales between 2 and 4, and everything,
Uh,
and the 4 is the highest, and if you go out from there, it kind of that's how it's go. And
then it's
what
just
I've
kind of extra
discovered,
people are there.
what
If you go beyond 4, then it's just like the extra people are just
they're
there.
there, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried with 12 people yet, but I think that's it. The game says it stops changing after 4, so
I see.
we'll
I
see.
see.
But from what I've discovered, it's the only thing that changes is like the number of people that need to do a thing together. So, for example, if one thing requires you to push 2 buttons at once for 2 people, it'll put 4 buttons there if you have 4 people.
I see. I
So
see.
all everybody has to do the
no,
thing.
it doesn't like change the mechanics of the
Yeah.
puzzles in like meaningful ways.
Yeah, it doesn't change like the puzzle itself. It changes kind of like the roles people like people's participation. Everyone has
I
to
see.
participate essentially.
cool.
So you can't just carry people.
So it's
through some of
basically the same experience, just
Right.
adapted to work with that many.
Exactly,
players.
yeah. And that's why I think the other thing I'll recommend if you haven't started playing the game is that make sure when you start the game, you play with the people you want to finish it with. Because while there is drop in, drop out, you can change. You don't have to, you're not locked to the same people, but you're locked in terms of knowledge because once you figure out a puzzle, you know the answer to the puzzle. And so if you go to another person's game, like you're going to obviously know the answer to the puzzle. And so it's kind of an interesting game where that's right, meta game for this game for people who have multiple play groups is that you're trying to like not spoil it for people, which is a little bit of mental gymnastics sometimes. But
That's
just
fun.
as a caveat, that's a thing there. And I know that we'll get to this too. Is that it also makes it challenging for folks like yourself who are parents who can't schedule games.
Yeah, this one's gonna
that-
have to be on my long-term backlog for that reason. It's
Yeah.
just the schedule of a not only a new parent but a parent of 2 is such that I can't commit to like a consistent specific time where like 2 to 3 other people will also be.
Yeah.
I can't say I'll be free every night at 5:00.
Right, yeah.
Because I might not be.
Yeah.
So I don't want to inconvenience a bunch of other people. So I think this will be one that once things settle down, my wife and I will probably dig into it.
Yeah, no, it's a good game for especially with the significant other or someone you're living with. But you just got to make sure you're in a different room or a different area because if you can hear each other, that defeats the purpose of half the puzzles.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the puzzles are defeated if you are in the same room with each other. Because some of the puzzles, like they will literally put a soundproof thing between you, and so if you can hear each other because you're actually in the same room, that you're gonna kind of cheat the puzzle. So you really do have to be in separate rooms where you can't really see or hear each other. So just to be aware of that. But I think it's a game that to play this thing with other. I was actually going to think of this as a good team building exercise for coworkers or even like people you're going to be working with.
I pitched
Yeah.
it to one of my coworkers a few days ago. I was like, we should do our next meeting in Big Walk, and he was like, no.
Yeah, I mean, that's because you want to have fun. You want to have it be like
Yeah,
all work. I think you want to do it as a team building exercise, not as an
yeah,
actual meeting area.
yeah.
Although it is cool, like, because, we find that as we're walking from one thing to another, it's like you kind of do just hang out. You just talk, shoot the shit. You go, hey, like, did you do Spider-Man this weekend? Did you do this and this? Like, how's your day? Like, it is just a game about hanging out with your friends. So
Nice.
it's,
That's cool.
so far it's
Going
very
on a
cool. It's
big
very
walk.
fulfilling. But yeah, but as a team building, I think it'd actually be great because it teaches you communication. Like a lot of the puzzles are communication, and it's not
Mm,
necessarily. And you figure out it's not necessarily about just about like kind of building the best system to communicate. It's about what works with you and your friends.
mm.
As long as you get the message across and press the right button or hit the right thing or whatever, then you're good. You don't need to like have it be bulletproof for every use case. I think some of us, if you're more analytically minded, or if you're an engineer, like you want to
Or
think
if
of
you
a way
play
that's kind of
Destiny raids and you have to assign a name to every symbol you see.
yeah. You can just describe it. The symbol can be just squiggly line with a head with a thing around it, or blah blah blah, like in
Boring
Destiny.
bird.
A boring bird, or
Yeah.
kissy snake, or name your kind of inside joke. Basically, it's a game for inside jokes that kind of work as
Awesome.
communication. So yeah, but yeah, we can talk a little more about the mechanics of Bidwalk in our main topic. But yeah, I want to get to our main topic, which is about co-op games.
Co-op
We love
games.
co-op games because it's literally sharing an experience with a loved one inside the gaming world, but it could be outside the gaming world too. And so I want to ask you, Justin, what makes for a good co-op game experience for you, at least?
Oh man. So that's a pretty broad. There are lots of different ways to answer
Yes,
that
yes, there are.
question. I mean, it
What's one
depends
way?
on what kind of experience you want to have. Do you want
Yep.
to have an adversarial experience? Do you want to have a cooperative experience?
Well,
My
it's co-op. So
favorite.
it's co-op, by the way. It's co-op, not.
Oh,
We're talking PvP.
sorry.
Yeah,
Cooperative,
not multiplayer.
cooperative
Just talking
games.
co-op
Not yeah,
specifically.
not multi. Sorry, I got mixed up. So are you solving puzzles together? Is it like, I guess it depends on finding the right person to play with more than like
Mm.
more than what the genre is.
Mm.
And I think we'll get to finding like what kind of co-op partner is one of the things. We'll talk more about that deeper, but I I think that good cooperative games encourage players to think in ways that they're not used to thinking about
Mm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as we have alluded to before, the world is a lot more siloed, a lot more isolated now. So it's good and it's important to design experiences that, like you said, with Big Walk, encourage and foster communication and like show you novel ways of communicating something to somebody, even if you don't have, the traditional means to do so. So, thinking outside the box, I think, is an
Mm.
important
Mm-hmm.
quality in any game, but I think that can be really exemplified in co-op games because you can do things in co-op games that are simply not possible in a solo game, requiring two brains to work
Mm.
together to solve a puzzle. You can do that's a fun design space to play in. And I think like the obvious masters of this are Hazelight, who have made It Takes Two, Split
Mm-hmm.
Fiction,
A Way Out. I
A
think
Way
those are,
Out,
yeah. And
Brothers.
brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, though they've been just hit after hit, nailing that stuff. Actually, Brothers was a single
It
player
was you
co-op.
played
That
two
was
sticks. You played
Yeah,
both
that was
the
an
things on one
interesting,
thing. Yeah.
very interesting take on that. But then they went co-op after it. And they're I think the gold standard of this, two-player co-op experience. I think they're doing it better than anybody else right now. But then there are more asymmetrical I'm thinking now like MMOs, like
Mm-hmm.
Final
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy 14 for World of Warcraft. You can play alone, but then you team up with other people to work together to achieve a shared goal that will,
Mm-hmm.
benefit you individually after you part ways from these people. So kind of
Yeah. Well, we'll
different.
we'll talk a lot about kind of the different kinds of co-op games. But I kind of want to more like kind of what I was getting is more like for you specifically, what's your favorite? And I think from what I've just heard though, I think it sounds like you like a smorgasbord. You like have a little variety pack of different experiences. There's not just one kind of game that you like co-op wise. Like a lot of them can scratch that itch for you, depending on who's playing with you, what kind of game it is, and what you want out of it, right?
Yeah, and you know what another great example is that kind of nails the type of game and like exemplifies the qualities of a good co-op game is Portal 2. Did you ever play through that co-op with anybody?
Oh, good question. I forgot if I played it co-op.
It was a
I mean,
whole
definitely played
like
single player,
separate
but
campaign
well, yes, I did play
where
co-op.
you
Yes,
play
I
as the
did play as co-op.
robots.
Yeah, I played with my college buddy.
That was really good, and the
I
puzzles are
almost forgot about
custom
that.
designed for two
Yes,
players, and you have to work together. You have to think together, and there's so
that's a good
many
one.
moments where it's like a simultaneous, aha! We both
Yes, that aha moment.
get it
Yes,
at the same time, and I don't know being able to sync up that aha moment between two different
yes,
people that's
the
gold.
magic right there. That's the
gold,
magic.
Jerry.
It's gold, Jerry. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of it. Like that's kind of what we're all chasing is that kind of high of like that aha moment, right? If you think about just kind of like just distilling it to like one moment, it's that where it's like, oh shit, oh that's what you do. Okay, no, okay, let's get ready. Okay, let's do the thing. I think that's kind of what we're all chasing that kind of aha high from a co-op game. And I think there's different ways to get there too, right? There's all you just mentioned a whole ton of experiences. I think we'll go more in depth in each one of them, I think too. But yeah, for me, I think I agree. I think it's a good co-op experience is, well, first of all, it feels like you're respected. Your time is respected, and that you're all. And then when you're working together, you as you're working together with your friend, you feel like the time is well spent, and like you're working towards something, right? Like you're whether it's more story, it's a puzzle, it's more loot, it's whatever. But you're kind of like it's this notion of building something together or working together. I think that's where the result is a tangible result of your efforts together. Maybe that's more way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that made me think of another aspect, which is communicating the expectations that the game has of the player clearly,
Mm.
and when designing the game, knowing what you want those expectations to be, and either balancing them evenly across players or making it completely lopsided so that one player is like the skilled player and the other person is the sidekick. It either has to be that kind of relationship, or they need to strive to make the load of puzzle solving or challenge overcoming, as equal as possible across all four players. Because you don't want it to feel like, these two are carrying, they're solving all the puzzles while these other two are, straggling behind and, can't quite keep up with what's happening. So, and it sounds like Big Walk is a game that does that really well, where it gives everybody something interesting to do and everybody has to pull their own weight. It's not just one person figuring out the puzzles.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you have to work together. You literally have to work because there's scenes where, like I said, maybe there's a screen where you can't see each other, or maybe there's a audio proof wall where you can't talk to each other or even make noises.
Yeah.
And so it's up to you to figure out how to whatever system you can figure out to work it through together. But I think you made an interesting point about kind of like skill gap differences. To distill it down, I think it does depend. You have to consider who is your co-op partner or partners, right? And it could be for significant other, it could be your child, your son, your daughter, whatever. And sometimes I also struggle with I have like a lot of real life friends that are not gamers, but I want them to enjoy. I want them to share in this experience because it's really cool, right? It's like playing Big Log. I think I would love to do this to anybody, not just people who only play video games. But it is very video gamey, I get, but it's like, how do you like kind of bring this world to them? But and also another kind of cohort that I thought of also was like on the flip side of like a newbie gamer who doesn't game that much, you have like a professional gamer, or you have people who are in a clan, an MMO guild, or like a Destiny like world's first team, right? Where everyone is high level, high performing, high achieving, and that sort of co-op is something that's really cool too, right? So there's like a whole spectrum of different skill levels. I think we have to think about. And that is what makes a co-op game hard to design too, right? Because you want to make sure that you are able to have your game succeed with different skill levels. And I think what you said up front about having the goals expected from a player up front, I think it's important. I don't know how that's,
and to be clear, I don't mean that they should plaster words on the screen that say player 1 needs to go stand on this switch, but communicating that through the gameplay design in some way, in one way or another. I don't mean specifically like hand holding each player and telling them where to go, but
Yeah, of course, yeah. But
making
you,
sure that the game makes itself known to the player in a way that is clear and easy, like clear enough that players of, like you said, different skill levels can all latch onto it and get where they need to be.
yeah, or not. If not, then just put up front, like if you have to be X tall to ride this ride. You know, like I would never
This game
ask
is
a real life
designed for
friend.
people who are really good at games.
Yeah, like I would never ask a real like a like a newbie or a newer player to play a Destiny raid because that is not going to be a fun time for anybody involved, right? So, or if you want
Yeah,
to ask somebody to immediately jump into endgame FF14 rating or whatever
yeah,
raids with hard mode raids with, so. But there, it's like, oh, but up front, okay, you must be must have this level of skill, level gear, whatever it is. It kind of filters out those people, so everyone within this range of skill can play. So yeah, but that's your point of just ideally it'd be elegant enough not to like go, oh hey, like you have to be a level 40 and whatever to play this game. It's more like I think it's more, can you have the load, the heavy gameplay load be rebalanced on the fly, like you said, like, oh, like can I help you through more of it if needed be, if you didn't,
yeah.
if you weren't able to play with enough, if you can get past the section, for example. So, yeah, I mean, so it sounds like there's not one specific kind of player you want to play with. It's kind of, it depends on the situation in the game, right?
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
it's not like you only want to play with like super skilled players, right? I mean, or if you only want to play
yeah,
with new, yeah,
I mean, it depends. I love playing Destiny raids with players like you, but I also love playing more casual co-op games with the buds like Big Walk, when I
yep.
have the time to do so.
Yeah, it's kind of getting back to our or like our a few episodes back we did like a food pyramid, kind of our food diet of games. It's kind of like similar with this specifically, right? Specifically with
Yeah,
co-op games. There's all sorts of ways to go about it. But yeah, I think it's interesting. So I mean more specifically, there's some, I'll run these by you, and I think these are just groupings that I thought about earlier when you were prepping for the episode. Is that uh, okay? So one of them is like a linear campaign, right? So like a first person shooter, like Halo.
sure.
Halo, or I put down 50 Cent Blood in the Sand, which is an amazing co-op game that came out on the PS3, Xbox 360 era.
It's dying
Where
breed. We don't really get games like this anymore.
we don't, yeah, and that was a game because I think what was it? Somebody stole 50 Cent's skull, this crystal skull, and you got to get it back. Like it's name a better premise for a game, uh, but it's a linear game where you and a buddy just like go and you shoot your way through whatever and you get to the end. And it's very linear, but it's fun because you're just shooting and you're
Yeah.
PPOing and you're just shooting the shit while you're shooting shit on screen. And yeah, those are fun games. Those are a little more brain off, I would say, right? Unless I mean you could crank the difficulty up to like,
Right,
legendary,
unless you're
put the
trying to
skulls in
get through
there.
legendary, yeah, with skulls on. Yeah.
But this is a type of game that I would play with anybody, right? I could play with like my college buddy who hasn't touched a controller since college, right? And they could get back to it fairly fast and play through it.
Yeah.
Um, do you? I mean, as I was playing through the new campaign Evolved, and that's similar. A Halo campaign Evolved, and that's kind of scratches that itch.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so that's one type. Another type is I think I put on like a looter game, right? Like a hack and slash game or shooter even. So maybe there's like Diablo, Borderlands. I put down Splatoon Raiders here, but that's kind of what I'm gathering. Is it can be a little
It
bit of
fits
this
within that it fits under that umbrella, I think.
because you're on these games you're less about like kind of shooting stuff, watching cutscene, shooting stuff, watching cutscene. It's more of the loop of like, oh, I'm gonna do a run of this to get a thing or up my thing or up
The
my level or
main
whatever.
draw is getting stuff to become more powerful.
Right? Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a treadmill, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
but yeah, like a grind. Yeah. Okay, and then there's another type of game which I kind of it's basically the haze-like category. Is that a game that's specifically designed for co-op? So we're talking, yeah, It Takes Two, Split Fiction.
Yeah.
Any of these games are even Little Nightmares 3, which I just talked about, and Reanimal, which I think is a better game. But these are interesting because I think these are awesome. These are awesome games. I think I would recommend to almost anybody. But some of them do have like a you must be this tall to ride kind of vibe to it. Because I've been talking to a bunch of people, friends recently, who have tried to play It Takes Two or Split Fiction with like their significant others who may not be as skilled gamers, and for stuff that you and I would think would be just easily brain off stuff has been really tough for newer players.
Yeah,
Like some of the more
yeah,
platformy video gaming stuff, like 3D platforming, for example, is really hard if you don't
yeah.
do that.
It's like learning to speak a language. Like you
Yeah.
either have that skill set or you don't.
Yeah. So I think that's, those are interesting. But I think for these specifically this is an interesting animal because they're all linear and the co-op segments of these are very specific. And by that, I mean, they're usually of this scenario where it's like, oh, one player has a wall. So the other one has to go around with only the ability they have to like
Yeah,
open the wall for the other player. And it's almost feels contrived in a way, and not in a bad way. I'm just saying it feels very like designed like a linear puzzle box. It's like linear puzzle where it's the thing happens and then you can do the thing. It's just kind of
yeah.
keep
It's
going
almost
forward.
like you're on a conveyor belt waiting for
Yeah,
waiting for you're part of an assembly line. You're waiting
yeah,
for
you're
your next
leapfrogging, but
task.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which is it's I wanted to just distinguish between those kinds of co-op games and then maybe something that's more open like Big Walk. That's why Big Walk is so revolutionary, I think, is because like that game it's non-linear and the solutions involved aren't there's not only one solution, and it's not you don't feel like you're on like a treadmill. You feel like you're building towards something rather.
hmm.
And that's not to say games like It Takes Two are bad. They're really good. They're really good experiences. Those are some of the best gaming experiences I've had, especially with someone else, because you both do the thing, and it's scripted in a good way, right? It's scripted to give these set pieces where you feel like you're doing something well. But at the end of the day, if you boil it down to the game mechanics, you are kind of just on a assembly line, as you said. So I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about that kind of theory of that game? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's I mean it's kind of hard. It can be difficult to to classify things too discreetly, but I also think there's a lot of overlap in these types of things too,
yeah,
depending
that
on
can
who
be.
you're
I think. I
playing
mean,
with and
well, I
like the
don't think
skill
there's
set.
overlap in the looter shooter, and like so the good thing about, sorry, the interesting about these linear co-op games is that it's you're not leveling up here, right? It's Split Fiction. You're not gonna level up your guns to get higher, better skill. It's you kind of have your thing, and then you move on to the next thing, and they're kind of more episodic, I guess, more like a TV show, right? It's very
Yeah, but I'm thinking,
episodic.
but I'm looking now. I'm looking at like FPS linear campaign might share more DNA with linear co-op specific mechanics
Yeah,
campaign. Might share, maybe It Takes Two is not so different from Halo 2 when you think about it. It's about two people working together to
yeah.
figure out how to overcome a challenge together.
Well, in the Halo example, it's like you're just shooting stuff, and like you're not like you don't have to use your brain really. You can just go, and you're
There
not
can,
like
yeah, I mean it's
it.
it's a
The
lot
most is
simpler, but there are sometimes situations where you need to. I'm thinking specifically about trying to get through it on Legendary, where you do have to strategize and come up with a plan before you go in guns blazing. Like it's not a 1-to-1 comparison, but I'm just trying to back up my claim that there's some overlap there.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, yeah, there's many ways you can skin this cat, so to speak. So
Gross.
so there's two more cards I want to bring up before we go to the next topic. Is that so? The other one is I'm gonna use the word friend slop because I know that's popular in the industry these days.
Hate it.
But are these actually co-op games? I think they are. But so stuff like Among Us, Mecha Chameleon, or Phasmophobia, where you're like it's basically a game that's contained with only you and your friend group. For example, between like whatever it's 2 to 4 players or whatever that is. Um, and
Peak was a popular example of this
Peak
recently,
was that
which
okay?
is people are drawing lots of comparisons, I think, between that and Big Walk because it's friends hanging out, walking around together.
Hmm.
So there's that obvious like surface level similarity. But I think that's a popular friend slop example in recent memory.
Yeah. Have you played Among Us? Like, what? Yeah. I mean, I guess
I
these
played
are
a
kind
little
of
Among Us. Yeah,
Mecha Chameleon. Like,
I've watched Mecha Chameleon so
mhm.
that I can like know about it from a scholarly perspective, but I haven't played it myself. It looks like fun, but yeah, I've been more of a solo gamer these days. I there haven't been a lot of co-op experiences that really speak to me. Splatoon Raiders actually looks like something I would love to play with other people, but Nintendo makes it kind of difficult for me to play it with my son. But Yeah, the friend slot
For,
thing is this. The friend slot phenomenon is something I've been watching from outside the house, basically. I don't know. It's not my speed, but it
yeah,
looks like people are having a lot of fun when they're playing these games.
yeah, it's not for me either, but I think in terms of, I just agree with you. Is that I think as you know, the older you get, the harder is the schedule. The hardest boss for
Yeah,
anything of these is the scheduling boss, the
yeah,
time boss, and but so I think a lot of the friend slot games are kind of more popular with younger players because they have a little more free time, whether
right.
they're in school or they're they got um, the situations where they're able to try to play more regularly with their friends. I think that's kind of these games are almost like a hangout space, right? It's like you hang out with your friends after afternoon and you do the thing. So instead of playing hide and seek in person, not however ultra, but you play hide and seek in a fantastical realm with a Mecha Chameleon, right? Like
Yeah,
you kind of it's playtime, and
yeah.
in some ways it is cooperative for some. And maybe it's two versus two cooperative, even though it's adversarial, but
It's
it's
playing with
it's
your friends after school. Yeah,
yeah, it has that vibe,
instead of
right?
breaking my ankle trying to skateboard in the middle of the street, I'm uh,
And those games
doing
work
something
really well on
regular.
streaming too. Like
Yeah,
you
they
notice a
do.
lot of the big streamers will play these games because it gives them an opportunity to kind of be entertaining with each other and
I think
entertain
it
others.
was I think it was Mecha Chameleon that has a thing like right in the main lobby that says like share on TikTok or something like that, which
Hmm.
I think is like that's actually really smart. Just put it in your game, like, hey, share clips of this game on social
Oh yeah, they
media.
know. Yeah, and a lot of the games now, like they're engineered to be viral, right? They're engineered to
Yeah.
be these friend slap games where they're and a lot of these games, I think they're not really, they're more like playgrounds, I would say, than actual like kind of game
Yeah.
designs. Like I
Yeah.
think Big Walk is stuff like Big Walk is it's almost like a room escape where it's like a very handcrafted kind of puzzle experience where you and your friends are meant to work together and to solve things, kind of like a little like Zelda, right? Zelda's very about the puzzles and exploration
I really love
and
how you likened it to multiplayer The Witness earlier. That really sold me on it right there.
yeah, because it's open, and then you learn stuff, and you can use that knowledge to get to get past other puzzles and more mechanically interesting puzzles. But I think Big Wa is so. The last section I have is kind of like high skill co-op, for lack of a better word. Um, and it can be a little more sweaty if you want them to be. Like for example, like the MMO raids that we talked about, right? Like you have like people who have the roles, so they're really good at it. And Destiny raids where everyone has to do like tip top performance and execution. So not only do you have to have a strategy that you communicate with each other, you also have to execute, meaning you have to hit your shots. You got to not mess up when you do the thing where you bring the thing to the other thing. It's
High
you have to
stress, high pressure, but high
yes,
reward when you pull it off.
such high work. I think those are probably one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in all of gaming, and I
Yeah.
would say sometimes in life too, right? Where you're I mean, beating a Destiny raid, there's nothing like it for the first time with, and
Yeah.
you know the
Oh,
feeling.
for real.
But it's just the notion of getting six people together and you're all working towards something, and everyone has a role, and everyone does their thing, and it's even if it's even if it's on normal mode, right, not like master mode, it does feel really fulfilling to do it, and it's just
It's
nothing like it.
still incredibly complex and difficult to do, even on normal mode.
Yeah, a lot of the
These are
things are.
not, normal mode is not easy mode.
Yeah, and it can. I mean, nowadays it's a little easier, but yeah, it's still it's still challenging. It's not not recommended for kind of the beginner gamer,
Yeah.
but there's nothing like it. So this is kind of in terms of the sense of fulfillment. So it's yeah, I would say kind of that's kind of like the top of the mountain, literally,
Yeah.
for
I
in
mean,
terms of sweatiness.
there are cooperative experiences to be had for players of all skill levels. But yeah, like we mentioned, like we alluded to before, I think it ultimately comes down to finding the right people to play with, making sure you're
Yeah,
playing with people who you enjoy hanging out with.
that's a big
Obviously,
thing
the
too.
game design is a big part of it, but a strong bond between players can overcome some dodgy game design in some cases.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Like, how do you think? Do you have any tips for? I don't know, do you have much experience in kind of bringing a non gamer to play games with? Have you done much of that? Just out of curiosity.
remember trying to get my mom to play games, and that didn't work. Maybe one day I'll get her to give it a
Well,
shot. But man,
does she want to play games, or is it more of like a kind of a
she's
kicking
like,
and
it's
screaming
like
kind of thing?
kicking and screaming
Okay,
very
it's not
much.
like
Like,
a
fine,
willing
I'll try
subject.
it. Like, what does this even
Yeah.
do? Like, I don't know. I don't want
Okay.
to
Yeah.
try it. Like, I don't get.
That's an
It's
unwilling.
yeah, it's very yeah.
That's actually tough though. Yeah, I agree. There's people
I
like I know that.
remember
Yeah.
when PlayStation VR was getting ready to come out, seeing a lot of people, and this is tangentially an answer to your question, but not necessarily new people playing games, but new people experiencing something like that. It's even if you've played games before, you've never seen virtual reality before, and that was
Yeah.
a similar experience, I think, to like showing an exciting new way to play games to
Hmm.
somebody and trying to like get them into it. I did a lot of evangelizing VR, both because I worked at PlayStation and because I was personally excited about the technology. Um, but yeah, I think if you're passionate about something, be it cooperative games or anything else in life, uh, you can have a much easier time convincing somebody else to join you in that than something that you're only marginally interested in. So if you're passionate about Mecha Chameleon and you can't stop talking about all the ways it's awesome, you're going to be more qualified to talk about it and sell somebody on it than something that you just kind of heard was fun, you know?
Yeah, for sure. You have a leg up on it. Yeah, and you have to actually put the effort in, especially if the participant is more unwilling, like your mom in that example. I think
Yeah.
it's that's kind of like I think the challenge I'm thinking of having. I'm trying to introduce like for example, Big Walk. I want everyone to play Big Walk, but I might not be for everybody. But if someone's kind of willing and you're more, you're able to kind of give it a good pitch, then I guess so. But
Yeah,
it's
I think
actually
it's
interesting.
about
These
catering your recommendation to the person you're talking to. I wouldn't recommend Big Walk to my mom because she would never be able to wrap her head around, those types of, thinking through that frame. But maybe like a simple mobile game like Point P just came out on mobile for free. Devolver published disclosure. I work at a sub company of Devolver, so whatever. But Point P just came out on mobile for free, and it's a dead simple, super easy to pick up and understand mobile game developed by the guy who made Downwell.
oh, like one
I'm
button game. Wait, is this a
yeah,
co-op game though? I'm talking specifically about co-op games, not gaming in
well,
general.
I'm talking
Okay.
about this as like a gateway to get somebody interested in like getting them to dip their toe into playing a game, and you can like work with them to show them how it works. But then once you've kind of sold them on like, okay, look, you can play a game. See, even you can play a video game. Then maybe introduce something where they have to interact with another person. Because I think that's another aspect of it is if somebody hasn't played games, they're afraid of disappointing
Mm,
or looking silly. They don't want to be embarrassed and they
mm,
don't want to let anybody down.
mm.
So I think that's another aspect of it. Is I think that's what I'm trying to. That's the nut that I'm trying to get to here is
Yeah,
that
you're trying to work it
people are
around it. Yeah,
sometimes just
entry
don't.
points.
It's like a confidence issue. People don't feel confident enough to venture outside their comfort zone and play games. So maybe if you can, make them feel comfortable with something really simple, then it can be a gateway to something
Yeah,
more complex.
that's a good way to think about it. Is yeah, kind of on ramp them slow or kind of like ease them into it. Like I think, and kind of bringing it back to the friend swap games we're talking about, like Among Us. I remember actually during the pandemic when I played some Among Us, I got a lot of people to play games that would not have touched a game in their lives, and this game was simple and easy enough to be like learned, and like we actually got to experience that together. So there is something to be said for having something that's super simple and like kind of approachable to people who don't even speak don't know the language of games, meaning like all the mechanics and all the the ways to input. I think the simpler it is, like if it's a phone game, you just touch, don't touch. But yeah, it's something where yeah, it's a work in progress. I think it's an interesting way to like to consider on ramping because as gamers, we're like kind of, it's kind of like knowing a language and just expecting people to know it with you. Like it's a lot of it's not necessarily that simple, and it's an interesting kind of ongoing challenge, I'd say, to to get people on board. But the rewards are so cool, though. I think that's the thing is that you want people to share in this with you, right? Especially the game that's designed to do that, right? And you get to spend the time with the person. It's not just hey, read a book or hey, play this game single player, and we can talk about it afterwards. It's more hey, we're working
Yeah,
together on something, right? You're building.
working together to achieve a goal. Like that's a great feeling. whether
Yeah.
it's playing a game or working on a puzzle or
Yeah, the puzzle are
playing
yeah.
sports or working together and achieving a goal is always a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think, and then I know we had something about like the scheduling boss. I don't know if you have any tips for that for people. Like
If you figure that one out, let me know, man.
I think that's like the biggest challenge too for anything really, not even just gaming in general. But
Yeah.
I mean it's tough, right? But yeah, I don't know if you have any tips for any
It,
any parents in the same situation or people friends of friends with parents like.
I don't have advice for making time or finding time, but I will say that um, as life gets more complicated and it gets harder to schedule these moments, these windows with your friends, try to make sure you don't take them for granted.
Mm,
Uh,
hmm.
Acknowledge and appreciate the time that you have with these people doing these things because we live in an era where, because of the technology we have, it's possible to play a game like Big Walk, where you have friends connecting all over the country, working together to solve these esoteric puzzles that only there's a pretty within the realm of humanity, there's a pretty narrow group of a pretty narrow audience that could work together to solve puzzles inside a game like Big Walk, I think. So finding like-minded individuals and being able to find time to play with them on a regular basis, that's a really special thing, and it's worth acknowledging and just appreciating when you find those moments. I'm thinking a lot more along those terms because I have less of those moments
You
lately.
want to savor them, yeah. But well said
Yeah.
though. Some really well said words, and I totally agree with you there. All right, well, before we go, should we give folks kind of our last couple of recommendations? So, what are maybe your one or two co-op games that you think everyone should play, uh,
Uh,
or highlights
late.
that of you in general,
So
just of.
lately it's been a lot of playing games with my son, and we've been taking turns going back and forth. I want to say Splatoon Raiders because it is fun playing with
Yeah,
other people,
that's
but
fair.
it's very inconvenient that you have to have two copies of the game, and it's a bummer. I think a great standby is always the Jackbox games, the Jackbox Party Pack. However
That's more of
many.
a multiplayer game though than a co-op game. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like a
you're all
party game.
sure.
I
I mean,
yeah.
there are some games in there that I think are co-op-ish. Anyway, those are fun games. I like to plug them anyway.
Yeah. But
Um,
how about some of the games like kind of the categories we just talked about, right? Like any, they don't have to be they don't have to be for all audiences. This can be just your favorites. Like just,
yeah,
do you like playing FF14 raids? Like,
I loved It Takes Two. I loved playing through that
yep.
with my wife. I used to love FF14 raids. Final Fantasy 14 is
Yeah, that's fine. You
a
can still
past
say that.
life, not
Good
me
pick.
anymore. Obviously, I was super into Destiny and Final Fantasy and stuff for a while. But I think if you are um someone who plays games and you have someone who is interested in you got someone who's on the fence about maybe playing games, get one of those Haze Light games. Get It Takes Two or get Split Fiction and get them in there and see if you can get them involved, because that, I think, It Takes Two at least was a really fun experience to make time for and schedule for when we had a little more time to do it. But a great campaign to play through with my wife. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Um, yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I always agree. I would say, yeah, I mean, both Split Fiction and It Takes Two are kind of classics, and if they're perfect if you have someone who like is like at least a beginner level gamer who can at least get through like just even easy jumping sequences like platforming, because that's like you must be this tall to ride um requirement for that game is that you do have to have a little bit of gaming knowledge to kind of get through some of that stuff. But if you do, those are amazing experiences that you get through in like I don't know 8-10 hours. I forgot how long they are, but they're about the length of a TV series. So you can always say like it's a length of a TV season for a 10-hour game, and that's like a good analogy.
I thought of something. I've been giving Nintendo a hard time because of Splatoon Raiders. Sorry, I just made my camera wobble. But I will give them a shout out for what I thought was a really fun multiplayer implementation in Donkey Kong Bonanza, where
Mm.
it's very much like the little kid, like the little brother mode or whatever, where one player is DK running around playing the game. The other person plays as Pauline sitting on DK's shoulder, and you're using the
Mm-hmm.
mouse controls, and you just mouse the cursor around and click, 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 click it. And you can like shout words that become like actual like rock words that fly out and hit enemies or break the terrain or
Whoa.
whatever. So it's so fun to just like click, 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 click. And that game is all about destroying the whole world around you. So it's just fun, hectic chaos for you and whatever other person, no matter their skill level, you want to play with.
Yeah, that's a good one for yeah, all skill levels.
When I
So
made
maybe,
that,
I mean, yeah,
that
maybe if you're for
imbalanced
lower skill
analogy
levels.
earlier,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, because what that, yeah, if you're like a, high end, or if you're a professional gamer, maybe doing that might get a little boring for you. But yeah, it's good for anybody.
Great for
if you want to
playing with
brain
your
off.
kids. I can vouch.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, yeah, split fiction. And then I would just say, yeah, my favorite has been Destiny. I think Destiny raids are the most fulfilling thing you can do in gaming. Honestly, there's nothing like it.
I
And I
agree with
realize
that.
that's a small population of people who can actually do that. But it's just something for like kind of it's like solving a puzzle while you're doing a really hard, skillful like FPS shooter, like a boss fight at the same time. It's just a incredible feeling that's kind of it contains multitudes. But if you're
And I
able to do
think there's
this, do that.
also there's another layer to that where all 6 of the people on that team have been working toward being able to do this for a long time and have been looking forward to it, have been putting a lot of time into
Yeah, you're like
preparing themselves and their character for
it.
it. So this is like the culmination of something 6 different people have been working toward, and then all coming together and trying to face this final challenge together. Like it feels really momentous every time
Absolutely, yeah.
a group comes together to attempt a new Destiny raid.
Yeah.
Well,
so if you're a really skillful gamer who's mostly done single player games, I highly recommend, like, I know it's a time sink, but if you're able to do like a raid, in whether it's in Destiny or if it's World of Warcraft or even or Final Fantasy or whatever RPGs, I know it's a big time commitment, but there's really nothing like it in terms of just the gameplay and then the notion of like working together with X amount of people. Like, I remember doing World of Warcraft raids with 40 people, and that's a bit much. But I think my sweet spot is probably like between 10 and 25 is a lot of people too, but 10 is like a good decent amount. But but that many people together and you're all on the same page, like there's it may take a while to get there because you're also fighting each other, and not literally fighting each other, but you're also fighting how to get people on the same page as well as everyone doing their own jobs too. It's quite a fascinating dynamic. I'm sure we could talk for hours on this. I'm sure people have written books on it too. But it is kind of a really cool human experience to like just work at something together after kind of prepping for whatever hours, days on end. So it's nothing like it. Really cool experience. All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for this time. But yeah, any last words, Justin, before we sign up for the week?
Video games are cool.
They are very cool. Please check us out on the web at sharedbytes.net and wherever you get your podcast. And let us know on the socials if you have any thoughts, questions, feedback, and anything you want to share with us. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. All right. Bye, Justin.
Bye.